Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be continuing the 6-inch rebuild here, and we left off without installing the ESCs, and which is what we're going to do right now. So what we're going to do first is actually we're going to go ahead and prepare the ESCs here. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm just going to bring in my silicone pad here, just so I could, not risk burning or damaging anything. There we go. So first, let's just go ahead and prepare the ESC here. Make sure we have solder ready. Alright, and let's get started. So we're going to do one ESC and one motor together. And then we're going to go ahead and skip over the rest. Just to save time, because it's also going to be the same process basically. So we're just going to hit it with some solder on the pads here. Then we're going to get the flight controller also. And we should hit that also. So let's go ahead and do that. So this is pretty much ready here. It's very nice. Nice and shiny little balls. Alright. So let's prepare this side here. See, these rubber grommets are a bit scary because I kind of don't want to ruin them. They do give you, I remember they give you spares with this flight controller, so that's very good. You don't want to put too much here because you could bridge these guys. I think in theory we should have a absolute beautiful clean feed and a good flyer. Now I know this is a good flyer 100,000% because I have been flying it, but the noise has just gotten way too far now. Alright, so let's just get our ESC here and take a quick measurement and see where we want this guy. I would say about here is good. So let's go ahead and cut up the motor wires right there. I usually hate short motor wires, but I really can't do much here. And these motors have been performing. However, I think they're going to stop making these motors now. So that's something to take note of if you want some. Be careful because later on you might not find them. So if you break them, you're going to have to replace all your motors. Well, you don't have to. You can try mix and matching, but I don't know how that'll work out. I've never really tried it myself. So let's go ahead and start with this guy right there. By the way, if anyone plays video games or plays on Steam, for example, the new War Z, which is Infestation, it's a free game. Let me know. Maybe we could play together. It'd be pretty fun, actually. Alright, so we got these guys ready here. So let's go ahead and set them up. We'll do the first one here. Let's just set it up to length. Alright, about there is going to be good. You want to hear that beautiful crunching sound and not burn your finger. The same motor. And that wire got hot pretty quick. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. It's very nice. I really like it. So that's good. Let's go ahead and finish up the rest here. This time I will not forget the heat shrinks, because usually I tend to forget heat shrinks because we're going to need them, because when I was testing these ESCs, I actually removed the heat shrinks off of them. So we're going to need to kind of make it look a little bit nice at least. So this guy's going to be a beast. I do have a budget 6-inch build coming, and that one's just going to be insane, as I believe. Usually they turned out very good, because I'm using components that I know are good, except the one new component, which is a frame. But seeing other people's videos, it seems like it's going to be a good one. So I'm going to keep it as a surprise, but this thing should actually be a 6-inch budget beast for under 200 bucks. Maybe around, it's going to be anywhere between maybe 150 and 160. So it should be pretty good. So alright, so we got one ESC done here. So that's nice. Alright, so let's go ahead and grab a heat shrink. Alright. So these are the ESCs that I believe are going to outperform the DYS Aria, or perform just as good. However, these are a bit more expensive, handle more current, and have less features. Now they are D-Shot 1200 ESCs, but they don't have the current sensing nor the LED. However, I really don't care about the LED. Current sensing is nice to have, but here, since we're running all-in-one flight controller, it does have current sensing built in on board, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it's right there. So we should be good in that perspective. So yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and we're gonna, it's okay. Oh no, we don't want this little writing to be on top. So make sure we're trying to keep it as nice as possible here. Usually I go for function more than looks, but in this case it doesn't really matter. So, all right. So let's just take a look here. Are we gonna ground? Maybe. Let's take a look. All right, so as I remember correctly, this is gonna be ground, middle is signal, and then right is gonna be the positive. So it's perfect orientation coming in, so it's gonna be pretty good. All right. So let's start with positive here. It's gonna be a bit tricky to do it because the whole new setup here is a little bit farther than usual. So let's push this guy down because we don't need him just yet. Well, it's gonna be around here is gonna be good. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut it right there. So I mean, I'm pushing it down just to take a look. It's just barely coming off, so it gives us some slack when we strip it, and we could always cut a little bit more off after we add some solder to the. And I just ruined the wire. Awesome. I'll use the wrong gauge. Anyway, see that? Good thing we cut a little extra. We could have ruined it right there. So let's go ahead and add some nice little solder. All right. Very nice. I highly recommend you grab this with something because, you know, grabbing it with your finger, you're eventually going to move because this thing is going to get hella hot. And, yeah, that'll burn you right up. So, usually I'd go for my hemostats, but where are they? Are they next to me? I just saw them, but it's okay. We'll just try to do this with this guy. So, let's try to get this where view here. There we go. It's going to be that one right there. Can't even grab tweezers anymore. Alright, so you gotta be careful because there's a little IC right there. So we're just gonna right there, put it right there, and touch this guy. Should be good. Let's take a look at it. Very nice. Very, very nice. Awesome. Alright, so let's see what we're going to do here. So we have ground. It's okay if these two bridge because these two are ground, so that's totally fine there. What I'm going to do, I'm actually going to ground the ESC with this, possibly. Yeah, we're going to do that, actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually cut a little bit longer than what I need here. Remove some of this. These are silicone, so these are very nice wires. Alright, so we leave some extra slack because we're going to wrap this around the ground there. And here we can see how much we really need. We shouldn't really need that much, but here's going to be nice. Just pinch these guys, the silicone wires, they'll come right off, even if you don't have nails, so I really love these. You know it's good when it's silicone. I mean, sometimes. Alright, let's see how we're going to do this guy right here. He's going to be a bit too long, so we're going to trim him down quite a bit here. But right there is going to be good if you can see that. Go ahead and fix the camera angle here. Alright, so right there. And I have my soldering iron set to 380 degrees Celsius, and with my solder it kind of dries out quick, or it burns out quick, so I really have to just keep applying solder to it every now and then, or it'll turn very ugly. So right now, if this process of us wrapping these two wires takes a pretty long time, take a good look at the soldering tip and look how it's going to be once I bring it back here. So just keep that into consideration. Usually high temperature with non-lead solder, with lead solder, tend to kind of like have this weird ugly color, burnt out color. So just keep an eye on it so you don't ruin the tip. I've ruined a tip like that before. Alright, so it's gonna be good here. And this one, actually, what I want to do is I want to make it very long, like that long. That's why I purposely kept the wire long. So wrapping doesn't really become a problem for us. I mean, this is a new thing I want to do. Hopefully it's going to turn out as planned. Could be absolutely stupid, but it's worth a try. Yeah, it's going to be beautiful. Yeah. So we don't have to worry about it just coming off every now and then. They're both silicone, so we're not going to be burning anything anytime soon. Just make sure we don't have any extra strands running anywhere. Okay, so all right. Beautiful. Look at that. That's very nice. Oh, I just wiped it. But yeah, you see, look, check this out now. It's starting to get very nasty. If I didn't wipe it with the water real quick, it would have been worse. So let's just add a little solder, clean it up, and then start using it. Or else it'll just take forever to heat anything up. See how it looks now? That's how you want it to look right there. It just looks nice. If it looks nice, you're doing everything right. Oh, you see that? Never do that. Let it go and let the tension just pop. Because now we probably have splatters somewhere. I just saw a couple splatters, so as you can see right there, we just got one splatter. So you got to be very careful with this. I've actually ruined a board like this before. So yeah, take that into consideration. It's very important. Alright, so right there is where we're going to set it up, this guy. Basically, I'm going to do the same thing for everything else here. Okay. Make sure the tip is nice and shiny, so this part doesn't take forever, and it just falls. Oh, that was very hot. You're obviously gonna need something to grab it with. But this is the type of part where you would have needed a hemostat. Now, some people might disagree with me, saying that that might ruin the wire, but I'd rather ruin the wire a tiny bit than actually hit something else with solder. So it's pretty good, but I'll come back and retouch this guy. Alright, so one ESC is done, and I guess one motor is done basically now. So I'm going to go ahead and skip over the rest, and then we come back, and then we set up the we basically did everything in part one. Basically just connect the VTX and we're done. This is such a simple build. Alright, so let me go ahead and finish over the rest, and I'll be back, and we'll take one last look at it and see how it all went together, and then yeah, hopefully I'll be taking out for a flight these 2 days. So yeah, give me a moment and I'll be back, guys. Alright guys, so I've gone ahead and soldered in all the ESCs, as you can see here, right there, right there, right there, right there. Came out pretty nice. However, there's something you need to take note of if you do the kind of same setup, because it's such a long board. It fits fine, but the protruding negative parts here, how it's popping up, it might actually touch the frame quite just a tiny bit here. However, I don't think this aluminum is super conductive. But what we'll do is I'm just going to get a piece of black tape and just put it over this. You could also hit it with some hot glue, but then that'll increase its, size, and then it'll have it hit the frame here. However, here it's very well soft mounted. This is just going to be pretty good, hopefully. It's like kind of in a way double soft mounted, so that's awesome. So now we're going to go ahead and start connecting the VTX. So let's go ahead and take a look at the VTX here. So I've gone ahead and kind of was just playing with this to see if I needed spacers or not, but I really have to remove all spacers for me to enable an antenna to actually click through, because this part is pretty thick actually, as you can tell right there inside, kind of. See how thick that is? So we're not going to be needing the spacers. I have to remove them here, and let's go ahead and take a look here. So what I want to do is actually I want this side to be in front because I don't think this will reach all the way back there, and it'll cause a lot of stress, as you can see here. So that's not a good idea. So what we're going to do is we're going to set it up in the front, and I don't want it off the side to have wires get cut off while I'm flying. So as you can see here immediately, as I start to put this down, this little standoff right here is actually touching the antenna. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut this guy off like this. There we go. And that should solve that problem. And that explains why it had the missing screw when I first opened it. So there we go. Now we have a VTX installed. And so I had someone comment me telling me that this VTX actually does not work with the button. You actually have to connect it through smart port and basically Betaflight OSD. So I've gone ahead and reinstalled that one that I cut off earlier, and we'll be installing it later on with the setup video. So because I haven't decided where to put it, and I just need to see what UARTs are available. So in theory here, we're basically done. What we're gonna do now is, let's just set up this thing here. We're gonna go ahead and put the antenna right there, and then we're just gonna set this guy up. I had a comment saying you guys wanted to see, you know, the final touches that I make, so that's what we're gonna be doing right now. It should be pretty quick. And by the way, guys, this frame, if you're looking for a 6-inch, I know it's a heavy frame, but it flies just insane. I don't know, I love this frame. That's why I'm rebuilding it. If I ever rebuild a frame, it's because I really like it. And then if I rebuild it again, and then I stop rebuilding it, it's because I gave up. Alright. So it's not super tight right now, but it's going to be good. What you need to do is when you do such thing, make sure you grab your antenna. And if you put it all the way in, and this still feels loose, like it's spinning, like look how loose that is. You see that? Then that's not good. That is very terrible. So right now I'm able to actually put that through, and you see it's not spinning. It has a lot of friction to it. So I know this antenna is in very good like this. And did I put the correct type of antenna? I don't even know what this is. Yeah, this one won't work anyways. So I'm going to need an SMA antenna. Alright, so let's go ahead and connect the camera here. And we're going to see what else we're going to do after this. Sorry, I have my hands in the way. Alright, the camera should be installed. VTX installed. I don't know what channel we're broadcasting on. Let's see how this is going to bend back here. Seems nice. You see that? This part is touching. Look. Well, I'll hold the frame down. You can see the board move when I put that. So let's actually go ahead and put some tape right now. We don't want it to blow up before we ever even use it once. Just found some ugly red tape. Of course, I will change this later on. And I know I'm going to get hate for this, but this is what's right next to me. And I don't know where my black tape is. So I just bought some red one for some reason. I forgot what. But it should be pretty nice, maybe. It'll be easier to find. Always use bright colors. You guys have no idea, if you're new to this, how much of a pain it is to go look for a quad which has no bright colors. It's basically hell. It's that bad. Alright, we should have unplugged everything actually before doing this step. Alright, so these antennas, I don't want them here. You know, we keep them in the front. I think there's holes up here somewhere. No, there isn't. So these are kind of like for zip ties here. We could put a zip tie and then put the antennas through there. I think that's what we might actually do. That seems pretty logical. But right now, let's just install this tape to cover up that area. Be very delicate with these antennas. I wish they make some silicone antennas, because these antennas are terrible. Like, really terrible. I have never had one last more than 5 flights on any of my receivers. They just always end up getting caught. Or it's just my technique is crap of the way I set them up. But anyways, doesn't matter. So something of this nature. I know it's going to be hella ugly, but I would rather have a little ugliness than quad that just got fried before I even flew it. And if it rains, we should be kind of covered somewhat. Alright, let's just plug everything back in now. There we go. Come on, buddy. All right. So I'll figure out later what we're gonna do with it. So let's just see how this is gonna wrap this wrapping motion here. Very nice. It's really bothering me how ugly it is, to be honest. There we go. I could also use conformal coating, and I think that's actually what I'm gonna do. But at the current moment of time, I really don't want to wait for that, so I'm not gonna do that. And I just sliced one of the power wires, but that's fine. All right. So, yeah, it's beautiful, very beautiful actually. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab this guy, and I'm gonna take him out tomorrow in that new budget quad that we just built, or after tomorrow, after tomorrow, whenever is a good day, good weather, and should be pretty awesome. I think we should be good here. I'll find a screw later for that one. Yeah, I'll just find a screw later for that one. So let's go ahead and take a look at this beast. Let's go ahead and heat shrink it. Okay, we're just gonna put this, the wrong type of antenna, but I just want to see how it looks because I am hella excited to go fly this one now. I used to hate it because of the noise, but it flew so beautiful. I don't know if you guys can see how beautiful this thing is. This thing is a beauty. Or you know what? Let me just actually clean this up and we come back and we take a look at it and see how good it looks actually. Alright guys, he is complete and looking sexy as expected. This whole build came out very clean, very easy, very simple. Hopefully it's going to fly and perform well. I did not add a low ESR capacitor because I want to see the noise, because I had terrible noise before. Like unbelievable amount of noise. And that was the only thing not letting me fly this, but the flight characteristics were out of this world. And I really love this frame. This is the 6-inch version of the Tinsly Rocket, and it's a beast. It's an absolute beauty. It can take a hit. It's taken a couple nasty hits, but it's still holding up pretty well. And now I'm going to be flying it a bit more often because this guy was just insane. It was so fast sometimes. I mean, I don't know if you saw me when I was doing the teardown. You saw these. This is the propellers. I had the propellers disintegrate in mid-air on a 5S and a high volt battery, which is just, it's crazy. I would just be flying and all of a sudden just flips over. And then I go to it, I was like, what happened? And then I go and I find the prop has just completely disappeared off. So this is just insane. This thing has just unbelievable amount of power. So I love this guy, and this guy is one of my favorite quads. I mean, in the 6-inch class. I do have a budget 6-inch on the way. That might go also up for a giveaway, so stay tuned, and it should be pretty interesting. So overall, this came out pretty good, and this will be the test of these motors as well. I will show you the maiden of this because I really didn't like the maiden before with the current setup, and I highly recommend you kind of stay away from the Typhoon 35 amp ESC. Its noise is just it's not good. It was terrible. And this should be overall good setup. However, you know, this board doesn't have any filtration at all, so if we do get FPV noise, we do not blame the board itself, but what we can blame is the ESCs here. So in theory, these ESCs on the bench testing proved to be better than the DYS Aria, and this is the reason why I set them up here, because, and plus they're 50 amp ESCs, so they're pretty insane. And but no telemetry. I didn't add telemetry. I think they're capable of telemetry, but I don't know. But for 50 amp ESCs, D-Shot 1200, and if they don't have noise, I'm gonna leave it on basic default. I think 24 kilohertz or 16 kilohertz. I forgot what it comes to. I just left everything default on the ESCs. And yeah, we're gonna be testing this guy out and see how it flies. So stay tuned, and yeah, we'll be doing the budget build, and we'll do the flight footage of this guy. And if you're finding it hard to figure out where's the maiden of each frame, I do have a playlist which is called Maiden, and you can just go through it and you can see the picture of the quad, and then you can see basically it's maiden. Sometimes you could see the maiden of me, basically it's the video about an ESC, but it'll actually also be a maiden of this quad, so you can actually see how it's flying and how it's performing with this overall setup. And well, that's it, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you guys have any questions or any suggestions, feel free to let me know. And I will see you next time. See you guys. Take care.